And hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Cassandra Joan Butler, Agent 56 with the CIA, and I'm along with you tonight for the Cosmic Connections. And tonight, like we do every Wednesday evening, we talk about the astrology ahead. We talk about maybe a story or two that's in the news. And most of all, we also connect with you because that's the nature of the connections. As a proud agent of the CIA, I want to remind you, friends, that tomorrow we have an offering for you. If you're not a member of the agency, please consider, because March is going to be one of those pivotal months in 2023. In some ways, March is going to be a pivotal month in our lifetimes. It's the foreshadowing of a new era, Pluto ingressing into Aquarius, the age of power to the people for the next 25 years or so. Well, it's a little birthing pains that we're going through, of course, but so consider joining the CIA tomorrow. Lynn Bell, an eminent, preeminent astrologer across the world, is going to be offering up the story about Saturn and Pisces, and of course, Pluto moving into Aquarius. So I hope you enjoy those offerings. As for myself, I'm going to be having a full moon Saturn ingress on Tuesday next week. On the actual day, I invite you all to take advantage of that, okay? So it's a Zoom. Wherever you might be in the world, you can still join in, and that's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Tuesday. And then following Thursday on the 9th, I'll be talking about what Saturn in Pisces means for our spirituality and our psychic awareness. All right, so we're going to be doing some of that as well. Good evening, dear friends. Rose, Donna, Joan, Patty, Nancy. Thank you for sharing, dear Rose. Hello. Grazera Rudolph, thank you for being here. Christine and Jeff, good evening, ma'am, sir. I love it. Thank you for sharing, Christine. Just a reminder, hi, Kathy. Nice to see you. Just a reminder, when you share in real time, I really appreciate that. I have found out this week that a lot of people watch it after the fact, but it's kind of fun to see if I goof up, because this is live, right? I used to do actually live radio and live TV many moons ago. Some of you know that, and some of you know that's how I met my former and only ex-husband. I only have one ex-husband. He's doing well. If those of you may have heard me on Tom Bowerly's show on Monday afternoon, maybe some of you heard us in Australia. I don't know. He always likes to shout out that I'm well known in Australia. I'm not really well known in Australia. I just work off the platform of the CIA, which is based in Australia. My dear friend Julia Simons is the mother of the CIA. Well, in any case, many of you are fans of his show, and he is doing well post-surgery, and prayers are most appreciated. And if you're coming in here from the Western New York area, I know you are very well aware of the fatal fire this morning in Buffalo, and our thoughts and prayers are with just not only the family of fallen firemen, but all the brotherhood of firemen and fire people and frontliners, first liners, I should say, who were at the scene today. It's very tragic and very sad. It's I always say our frontline people often have those strong sense of instinctual awareness and intelligence, and they offer up themselves for all of us. So on that note, I'm going to talk to you tonight about from Sunday until the full moon. We are in right now still our first quarter square period. And a question for you. Again, I have to note the appearance on Tom's show on Monday because he started off the program by just complaining and being aggravated and politically. That's above my pay grade. I don't want to talk about politics, but he was just going on and on and on saying, oh, by the way, I don't believe in astrology at all. But I said, gee, Tom, that's funny because in this moment, the moon and Mars are together in the sky and they're squaring your sun sign. And so it was a very kind of restless beginning of the week for all of us, but especially the mutable signs. So my question to you in reflection: has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the past 3 days under the square, has it been a little bit shaky or irritating, or have you been a little impatient, especially if you're Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, or Sagittarius? I'm just curious, because the quiver full of arrows was the Sabian symbol of this first quarter square. And squares are about taking action, about doing something. And when you have Mars in the mix, sometimes that doing something can be a little forceful, shall we say? Or, forceful is a good word. Okay. And, Beth is talking about the event this weekend. Thank you for the reminder. I'm having a number of events in March to honor the crazy, wild, new energies of March. The first one, if you want to become a certified Reiki practitioner, level 1, if you have the certification, come to the class, because we're going to teach it all day on the 18th of March at the Hampton Hotel in Western New York. And you're all invited. I mean, if you're coming in from out of town, you can stay at the hotel, right? It's a nice hotel. And that's going to be in concert with the idea that Saturn and Pisces is going to shore up our healing abilities in the next 2.5 years. So that's one event. The other event is on April 1st. We're going to be talking about the solar eclipses of the year, but specifically the one on the 20th of April, and also talk about the ingress of Pluto in Aquarius. So if you're in the neighborhood, please come to the events and consider just hanging out with me, right? On one of my classes too. Just go to my website, Cassandra Joan Butler. All right, so the question of the week: have you been feeling that irritation? We're still under it now. There's a sense of impatience. I got to take action. I know for myself, I've seen this irritation, and I also want to, let's talk about the chart itself. There's also, I would say, some fear energy too that was going on as well. Let's take a look at the highlights. So this is what we're going through right now. It's called the quiver filled with arrows. And it took place on the 27th. That's the lunation. And so it had 10 degrees off of Mars to the moon, right? So there's that violent emotionality, especially for you mutable signs. We have Saturn and Mercury in something of a out of sign conjunction that would imply serious communication or serious words. We have the exact Venus moon sextile that concerns love and other financial concerns. We have Venus conjunct Vesta, spiritual practices. You saw the slide last week. I put it up for you. But one of the things I also put up, and I'm very much a big observer and witness to Black Moon Lilith. Now, some of you use Black Moon Lilith, some of you don't. Black Moon Lilith, I use not the asteroid, but the passing Black Moon Lilith on the ecliptic. There are a number of Black Moon Liliths. That's the one I use. I use the true or the mean Black Moon Lilith. And in my research, I have found her very active amongst people who are rabble rousers, who work in the fringes, detectives, in like secret societies, and even the occult work. A lot of people who are in ghost careers, right? Paranormal investigation and so forth. I also found Black Moon Lilith is often very active when actual events or paranormal breakthroughs happen in a particular place. Like, for example, the Hinsdale House down in Olean. Some of you might be familiar with that. Very haunted locale. Well, that's beside the point, but Black Moon Lilith is also the shaker up of secrets, right? So with this quiver filled with arrows, lunation that took place on Sunday, right? We had an exact Pluto opposite Black Moon Lilith. And I highlighted that because it represents in some ways, in my estimation, of course, a revealing of the Capricorn secrets that we've all been privy to or witness to since 2020, January 12th. So some things might be coming up to be revealed. Like, for example, it is now said by the US government that the virus very likely was leaked from the Wuhan lab. Now, that was a theory 3 years ago, but it was extraordinarily decried. All right. So again, this is this week, and then things will be shifting on the full moon on Tuesday. I also observed a lot of fear from my clients this week, which was really interesting. Certain dialogues came up time and time again about what is really happening in the world, and oh my gosh, should we ready ourselves for some sort of apocalyptic event? And that came up in several times with several people who are very staid and very, very normal, not conspiracy theorists or anything like this. So I thought this was interesting because I think that this particular aspect is shaking some of our consciousness up this week. Okay. Glad to see you, Melissa. Glad to see you, Teresa, Kathy. Thank you, Debbie. Hello, Susan. Hello, dear friends, for being here. Devin, hello. Devin says she was extremely impatient and irritated the last 3 days. Well, you are in good company. The scales seem to be tipping. Yes, indeed, Jeff. And thank you for commenting, Beth. Yeah, there's a lot of balance. Anytime we see an exact opposition, we're trying to balance things in our lives, fear versus no fear. So that's a theme, I believe, this week. So I love to pick on particular stories that catch my eye. So allow me to reiterate this story, which happened under the light of this lunation. I did not see it in real time. Again, don't you love live media? I'm not sure. Yeah, it really is live. Saturday Night Live, SNL, has been around for decades and decades. One of the few live programs around. And this gentleman, Woody Harrelson, really shook up the internet with his comments. And I wanted to actually quote him. So who didn't hear about it, these are his words. He's a very esteemed actor. He's won many awards, SAG awards, all sorts of kudos to him in his acting career. And he's of an age that probably doesn't really care if he shakes up the status quo, but we're going to take a look at his chart too. So he writes, or I've written this, but this is what he said on Saturday Night Live. He says, so the movie goes like this: the biggest drug cartels in the world get together and buy up all the media and all the politicians and force all the people in their world to stay locked in their homes. And people can only come out if they take the cartel's drugs and keep taking them over and over and over. I threw the script away. I mean, who was going to believe that crazy thing? Being forced to do drugs? I do them all day long. He was making a spoof about his love of cannabis. And so I watched the rerun. People weren't laughing at it. They were not laughing at it. And again, as so often happens, like a 50-50 split. Was he being a conspiracy theorist, or was he just poking holes at a scenario? You be the judge. But what my mind was going from an astrological point of view, Woody Harrelson has to have a strong Black Moon Lilith, because Black Moon Lilith is loud and clear this week. And sure enough, here it is. We don't know his time of birth, but his Black Moon Lilith is conjunct his Uranus. All right. He's had a history of shaking up the status quo in many ways, right? So Uranus is the unexpected, and it's next to his North Node. So he's supposed to, in his life, in his career, be a little bit fringy, a little bit edgy, maybe in his acting, but certainly he was that way on Saturday. And depending on your point of view, he's a demon or an angel. All right. We love polarizing people. By the way, that first quarter square was opposite his moon, the truth seeker, in Sagittarius. So he must have had the gumption to go ahead and break script and do his little shtick on Saturday Night Live right before, like hours before the actual lunation. So let's talk about tonight, friends. At 10:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're having a preview of the big healing opportunity that's taking place on March 11th. What do I mean? On March 11th, and I'm going to be doing a YouTube and Facebook and different platforms, Not sure how I'll do this, but I'll do this. Meditation and a healing ritual at that time at noon Eastern Standard Time. So please join me if you'd like. We want to heal the narcissistic wound because at that moment we have Jupiter and Chiron, the wounded healer, kissing in the sky. And they're asking us all to do a life review of what it means to be ourselves. It's a very strong moment for healing personality and personal concerns. Well, tonight we get a preview because Venus, and we've been seeing this up in the sky, wherever you may be in the planet. And I know Julia was posting some fabulous pictures on the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. Maybe you have some pictures you want to share as well of the beautiful conjunction of Venus and Jupiter. So it's tonight at 10:04 Eastern Standard Time. But I wanted to share with you a very interesting Sabian symbol. The symbol tonight is an unsuccessful bomb explosion. I like that narrative. Remember, I was talking about how people have been fearful of maybe Armageddon or something outside of their control this week with Black Moon Lilith opposite Pluto. Well, tonight there's like this sense with the moon in Cancer. Worst case scenario may not happen. Whatever that worst case scenario is in personal life, check out where 12 degrees of Aries falls in your chart. But there's the theme. There's a sense of Venus and Jupiter are whispering love and the promise of goodness and harmony in each other's ears, symbolically. So I like that a lot. That's tonight. And then we get to the full moon because that's in contrast to the full moon. I had someone mention to me this past week, another client, she said, oh my gosh, Cassandra, the volcanic eruption is happening on the full moon. What does that mean? These are all symbols, my dear friends. The Sabian symbols are amazing, but they're symbols. So volcanic eruption might mean for you that, I don't know, you drop a glass, this precious glass in your kitchen or something. It doesn't mean a literal volcano erupting on Tuesday. But the idea here, the full moon, where it falls in your chart at 16 degrees of Virgo, you're going to have some enlightenment. You're going to have some clear thinking, more clarity, more cognitive awareness on Tuesday because of the full moon. But the full moon is not the only story on Tuesday, right? We have Saturn making its first pass in the sign of Pisces. First time in 28 and a half years. It's a new era that's being born. It's amazing. It's an amazing day. That's why I'm having my class on that day. So Saturn is getting closer to Pisces. It actually takes place, this is Eastern Standard Time, 7:54 in the morning. And then Saturn makes the ingress into Pisces at 8:35 in the morning. Then we have the moon trining Uranus. There is an element of surprise with this full moon. And Mercury is trining the South Node. We might be repeating conversations within our mind, or maybe with our beloved companions, about death, about the reality of death, about the concept of death. I don't know, but just be aware that it's not morbid necessarily. It's just talking about mortality with this full moon. And then, of course, we have Jupiter, Chiron, Venus marking the time to the big moment on March 11th when Jupiter and Chiron are kissing in the sky. So this is a beautiful full moon for illumination and for feedback where you find Virgo. It's a great full moon for health, for spiritual health. Remember what Virgo rules. It rules health and self-care and eating right and exercising right and sleeping right, doing our self-care, all of that and so much more. Okay, let's say hello to the people and see if there are any comments about their irritation. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Bar. It was great to see you last night, too. I'm sorry you don't have your time of birth. Hi, Kelly, Anne-Marie. Hello, Lynn. March 11th is your birthday. Fantastic, Christine. Give me your email, okay? When your birthdays come around, my friends, if you want me to just send you a solar return chart, it would be my pleasure. We'd be happy to send that to you. So send me an email, please. Email is better than Messenger. I get confused with Messenger. Whoa, really, Janet? There was a guy at the airport who had explosives in his checked bag. Where was that, Jan? Was that in Buffalo? I didn't hear that story. Isn't this interesting? Oh, my goodness. Good evening. Oh, you're in Aruba? Natalie, I love it. Oh, you lovely lady. Oh, fantastic. Speaking of islands, friends, I will be promoting this a lot more soon, but we're all going to the islands. I think we're going to Aruba next year in January for a healing cruise. Stay tuned. I'll be telling you about it. An astrological and psychic healing cruise. Hi, Jerry. Great to see you in Lehigh, Pennsylvania. Thank you for that, Janet. Okay. Oh, Dawn, honey, I know. I'm going to talk to you about that, sweetheart, because that's your Virgo in your chart, right? But the full moon will make you feel better. I promise, Dawn. I promise. Frenetic day for you, Paula. Absolutely. I understood that. Explaining, not splaining. All right. Let's talk about where that full moon is falling in your own personal charts, okay? I'm going to go through all the signs. And you wonderful astrological gurus out there, which is pretty much anyone and everyone who has access to a computer, right? If you know your time of birth, find out where your rising sign is. It's easily done. If you don't know, if you don't have the time of birth, then you just use your sun sign. So if you're Aries or Aries rising, this full moon is going to illuminate ways to improve yourself, your health, your fitness, your work, how to self-care more effectively. If you're Taurus or Taurus rising, this full moon is going to liberate your creativity and ask you to play more, ask you to have a little bit more romance in your life. It's a great time for fun and frolic for our Taurus friends or Taurus rising. If you're Gemini or Gemini rising, this particular full moon is illuminating home and family and ways to bridge gaps within the home and family, to be a go-between and to balance things out for your family members and or where you're living, like maybe doing some home improvements or maybe moving, who knows. Cancer or Cancer rising, this particular full moon is your full moon that involves communication. Communication always starts within, self-talk, and anything having to do with paperwork and organizing your routine. If you're Leo or Leo rising, this full moon will assist you in managing your money and making money flow better, whether that means managing or having a new income gig that helps you have more abundance. It's about finances. For Virgo, all eyes are on you. So the energy of the full moon is going to help you become more charismatic, more confident, and more relaxed in your own skin. For Libra or Libra rising, this full moon is a great time for you to rest, connect with spirit, meditate, or pray. It's a great spiritual full moon for our Libra friends. For Scorpio, you might be inspired to reach out to your friends and, make some plans. Connect with the people that really matter, your tribe, and connect with your associations and social groups. For Sagittarius, this full moon is activating your career, your leadership, and ways to become more effective in the outer world. For Capricorn, this full moon is asking you to travel, teach, express yourself with more authority, and maybe, again, take a trip. For Aquarius, it's asking you to become a little bit more cognizant and aware of your internal power, your psychological power, your spiritual power, and yes, to plan for more financial power long term. For Pisces, the full moon, happy birthday, Pisces. This is your full moon with regards to relationships. If you're in a partnership, highlight and celebrate your partner. If you're not in a partnership and you want to be in a partnership, it's a good time to emotionally manifest and set your intentions for the type of partner you would like, my dear Pisces friends, for this full moon on Tuesday, the 7th. And then as Saturn goes into Pisces, we have until February 14th of 2026 to enjoy the grounding of spirit wherever it may be. And the idea, of course, that not just grounding spirit, but becoming a little bit more aware of the use of spiritual principles and the use of spiritual technologies. So you psychics and you healers, take note, because you'll be taken more seriously. And I could imagine that in the next few years, we're going to have a lot more training in such areas, and perhaps a blending of science with spirituality as well. Proving that certain frequencies can help someone in spiritual healing, for example. That's why I'm doing that healing Reiki Universal Healing Protocol class on the 18th of March. So I hope you can come to it. All right, friends. So next up, we're going to do our spiritual healing, but not before I reward someone who is doing my sharing is caring thing. So the person who is going to receive the new moon, full moon of this particular lunation tonight. And again, thank you so much for sharing. It is Rose Chase. Rose Chase, I think you're still here. Did I skip Scorpio? I thought I said something about Scorpio. Oh, I didn't skip Scorpio, sweetheart, but you won. You're welcome, Julia. You did win, Rose Chase. Isn't that funny? Because I would never skip a Scorpio, right? I'm Scorpio. Scorpio's full moon energy on Tuesday is activating their friends, groups, and associations. Like Julia, I'm overdue with a conversation with Julia, and I also. So does that make sense, Rose? But you win tonight, Rose. By the way, friends. Again, I want to emphasize this. Seeing Julia's name is reminding me. Tomorrow, Lynn Bell, it's bigger than both of us or all of us. Pluto going into Aquarius, Saturn going into Pisces. I know many of you are members of the Cosmic Intelligence Agency, but check out the offerings. It's on the beginning of our webcast. You can check out. Also get a copy of Time Lords. All righty. Okay. All right, Rose, because I was thinking, oh, I did say that. Yes, thank you, Jan. All right, the next up. Oh, Christine, fantastic. I hope you can write that up somewhere. I would love to read what you've done. I would love to read what you've done. I remember as a kid, I was absolutely, Christine writes, she's a professional psychic who's been scientifically tested. Way back when in North Carolina University there. Oh, help me out, someone. You might even know. Maybe you were tested there. They were doing the Zener cards and doing ESP experiments way back when in the 60s. Well, in any case, thank you very much, Julia, for that. That's what I was talking about, dear friends. So that's a fantastic. Again, tonight, meaning Australia time. Julia, my ex-husband was talking about you on his radio show on Monday. Isn't that funny? We're all connected in this world. Okay, let's do some spiritual work, friends. How to do this? I close my eyes, I say a prayer, and it's very random. I know I'd love to give a little message to everybody, but I just let my thumb do the walking, and we'll see what comes up. Dear God, please allow me to serve. Please allow my words be filled with love. Whoops. Close my eyes again. Oh, busy little computer. Dear God, please allow me to serve. Please allow my words be filled with love and light, truth, inspiration, and healing for the highest and best as we align ourselves with the Holy Spirit. Amen. And my finger goes to Julia. Oh, how interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Julia, I'd like to give you a read if you'd like, my dear. Just all you have to do is say yes or no. I'm into you, dear John. Oh, yeah, it was totally random. And I know Julia's our birthday girl, too, our Pisces. Julia, as I'm tuning into your energy tonight, I'm feeling that it's almost like I would say from your heart chakra, there's just a lot of, I'm literally seeing like a graphic of bubbling, that as though that you are connecting with your psychic spiritual gifts, coming through empathy and coming through your heart chakra. I don't know if you're doing any sort of mind heart techniques or chanting or tapping, but there's just this big heart opening within my mind as I'm tuning into your energy. It's almost as if that is how you're perceiving things differently. You're extraordinarily brilliant as I know you, but also your heart chakra is just radiating upward and outward. And I'm feeling there's a male energy, a father energy. I think this is your father energy. and he's coming in with a big platter full of goodies. And he didn't make these platters, but there's fine pastries and breads and a lot of really yummy but really carbohydrate rich foods. And he's presenting them to you, and he's saying that your work is creating more food for all. That's what he's saying. It's like he was very much about food and feeding others and having a good time with the family. But your form of food is much more, of course, esoteric, being in our beautiful astrological field, and you're feeding the world with your ideas and your creativities, which are expanding. I'm also seeing you going into, it's almost like a fairy tale theme or scene. The fairy tale Hansel and Gretel, Julia. I'm getting the image of Hansel and Gretel, that you're going into the woods and you're leaving breadcrumbs. And that's the word that's coming to me, that despite being confronted by the witch, which is actually an image of great feminine power, but you're following Hansel and Gretel into the woods, and you're making breadcrumbs for all. I don't know why I'm saying this. I'm just giving you the message, dear Julia. So there you go. Okay. All right. There you go. Perfect. Well, enjoy, Julia, all that wonderful bread at the yummy bakery, and you talked astrology. We'll do another person tonight, and let's put Julia off here. Let's see. It is playful. Okay. And the Hansel and Gretel, wow. It was like I was in the woods with you, Julia, and I was seeing like fireflies. They call them fireflies in Australia. Firebugs, those little things that twinkle. They look like fairies. All right, let's do another read. Okay. Okay. And next up, I'm with Melissa Peterson. Melissa Peterson. May I talk to you, my dear? Melissa Peterson, right? I would love to chat with you, Julia, about our friend Jupiter that's coming up. I know that I'm having some ideas for our May project. Well, in any case, let's see. Okay. Yes, Melissa, as I'm tuning into your energy, I'm holding a brush. I'm holding a paintbrush. It might be a roller brush. And it's not writing like with pen and ink, but on a wall. And this could be symbolic or it could be actual, of course, that you are doing painting, but it's almost like you're changing the canvas of your life. You're changing the colors you're using and the use of certain colors and materials, and you're rewriting yourself very much so. Melissa, you're rewriting yourself to have a clearer vision of what you want to share with others. I get the word very pictorial, very clairvoyant. You pick up things through the eyes, through the inner sight, and you want to share that with others. I get the word that when you meditate, you do a fantastic job of bringing down images of light, images which are very profound. And I see you materializing a lot of your visions and images with the help of Saturn going through Pisces. I don't know where you have Pisces. I don't know you. I don't know your chart, but you really want to look at where Pisces falls in your chart, because you're going to be a lot more structured and disciplined over the next 2.5 years. And this full moon is also going to offer some beautiful surprises for you with your avocation, not necessarily a job that you're creating income for, but something that's a passion and a creative one at that. So I hope that makes sense to you, Miss Melissa. I hope that makes sense. And happy birthday to you, dear Julia. Yes, I hope you're celebrating. And you've been on my mind a lot today. So best birthdays to our beautiful Julia. Hi, Joni. Happy to you, Joni. And happy quarter cycle and full moon to all of you, right? Use this energy on Tuesday to have that illumination, and do whatever you can do to your friends to quell the fear that sometimes rumbles up. We are going through extraordinary times. But the good news is that we're going to be seen in the dark in a new way as we clear 2023. So again, a reminder about Lynn Bell's wonderful talk, and that's tomorrow as we're coming in from Buffalo, today if you're in Australia. All right, through the CIA. Many blessings. Have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday, post full moon.